Hi, we're so glad you guys could join us today and click on here at Bread of Life. We're so thankful for what the Lord is doing in our lives and in your lives. You know, without the grace of God, there's just no way we could make it. And Mark, do you have anything to say today to our audience?
Well, we're excited about the things that we see happening all around us.
Mm-hmm.
We're excited about needs that we find.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God can't do anything in people's lives unless they're first presented a need.
That's true.
I have gotten where I have stopped inviting people to church.
Really?
Yes, because people don't care anything about my church. They don't really care about my God. But I try to find out if there is a need that can be met in the home. You know, in effect, they're saying we do have a need.
Right.
And then that need gives me the opportunity to say, well, by the way, here is a card which has the address of our local church that can meet your need. And then they're more interested and receptive to finding out what God is doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited about needs that I find.
Kind of like the Lord feeding the 5,000.
Yes.
He didn't teach them anything until after he fed them some food.
Right.
That was their natural need. That's true.
He met their need first.
Yes, he did.
He met their need first. And then he says, by the way, I'm the bread of life.
Right.
So you got to meet people's needs everywhere you go, and I'm excited about every single need that I find everywhere I go.
Right.
And there's scads of them.
Yes,
you and I have needs in our life, our neighbors have needs in our life, and there is needs in the local school, in government, in the United States, around the world. There is a need, and the only one that has the answer to the questions of ill people is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords.
That's right.
But I'm excited to hear what you have to say today.
Well, you know, Mark, I was thinking about exhaustion because everybody gets exhausted from time to time. And there's different reasons that some people get excited or exhausted because of other people, and the masses drain them of their energy. And then you have other people that can be around a group of other folks and just get energized, and it just fuels their fire. Mm-hmm. But what I'm talking about or thinking about today is the spiritual side, and meeting, like you said, meeting the needs of people can also be very exhausting and draining on people.
Yes.
And, you know, you have to think, well, did I start this endeavor out of sympathy, or was it birthed out of a burden for them, or compassion? Mm-hmm. You know, the Lord, when he was on earth, it doesn't say, oh, and he was moved with sympathy. It was compassion. They may kind of go hand in hand, but there's a difference. And he is our source of strength. Mm-hmm. And if we don't do quality time with him, we will wind up becoming very exhausted about the work of God and doing for others. You know, it's kind of like Mary and Martha when Mary was at the feet of the Lord, and Martha was in the busy in the kitchen, and she came to the Lord and she says, Lord, make Mary come and help me, because she was exhausted. And he told her, Mary's chosen the better part.
Yes.
So, you know, I just want to encourage us today to get our strength, find a quiet place, draw away from the crowd, and just spend that quality time with the Lord. And remember to fast and read your Bible and gather that strength from him so you can go out and help somebody else.
You know, that's what Jesus did. He pulled himself away from the disciples, away from the crowd, and gathered himself alone in a mountain to pray, and just spent one-on-one time in prayer, and thereby revamped and rejuvenated and visions refocused and spiritual strength. As a man, he needed spiritual strength.
Right.
And he is a man.
Right.
God manifest in flesh.
Right.
But nevertheless, he is flesh. Sheila, I'm thinking of that story of that individual that was taking gasoline in a big truck out to fuel these particular gas stations, and on the way, the big, huge truck carrying gas runs out of gas.
Yeah.
He says, well, I can put some gasoline in the truck and make it on the way, but you know the nozzle's about this big.
Right.
And the little place where you put in fuel is only this big, so he couldn't fill himself up.
Right.
you must have fuel in order to be able to carry fuel to someone else.
That's right, right.
And if you don't have that fuel, you begin to be burnt out.
That's right. We're so glad you could join us today, and we thank you for clicking in, and we hope you have a blessed day.
God bless you.